We want to get to the root cause. We want to break it on down and give ourselves a full understanding of this. So what is truly happening at this time? It says Nvidia falls 11% in pre-market trading as China's Deepseek triggers global tech sell-off. So what we have here is Deepseek. Now, for anyone who does not know, Deepseek is essentially the ChatGPT of China. So we have Microsoft, OpenAI, their ChatGPT is set the standard of what we know as AI over the last year and a half, right? That's basically the most useful AI that we have. Now, we also have Gemini from Google. We have Grok from Twitter or X now from Tesla. We have DeepSeek in China. Now, this is the issue. The issue is that we have invested as Americans billions, not millions, hundreds of billions of dollars into making AI the biggest and best part of our lives now. That's the idea of investors. Meta is saying, let's take $60 billion and let's invest in. We have Google saying, let's take $100 billion and invest it. Let's take, on Microsoft, $80 billion and invest it all into AI. Traders have been wondering, where is the next product of AI? If we are spending billions of dollars for AI, how has it really changed our lives? Because the average consumer, aka me and you, the only thing that I have seen out of AI over the last 2 years has been ChatGPT. Now, has there been things in the back end and different programs and such that has helped big corporations? 100%. But I'm talking about as an individual. The only true AI that I use every single day is I type in on ChatGPT or I type in on Grok or Gemini or whatever. But a lot of money, billions of dollars, have been invested into making AI the next step of our life. Basically, the next form of the internet. And where is it? Now, we have China. China came on out over the weekend showing off Deepseek. Now, Deepseek was built for essentially only $6 million. Now, that's a little bit crazy to be thinking about, isn't it? If we have China inventing something for $6 million that took us hundreds of billions of dollars to create, that's a major blow. That's a major blow. It is saying, look what we were able to do with such a little amount of money. You guys spent over $100 billion to create that. We created it for $6 million. This is the competition. We get into competitions with these countries that say, hey, we're going to the moon first. No, we're going to the moon first. Hey, we're building AI first. No, we're building AI first. And we're basically, again, just talking smack a little bit. Hey, look what we got. We got ChatGPT all built. And again, a year later, they say, yeah, but your ChatGPT costs $100 billion. Ours costs $6 million. So now it's, again, going a little bit back and forth. But Wall Street investors didn't like this. Now, guys, could you imagine why investors and why Wall Street didn't like this? Of course I can. Let's break this down into a human way, like a more consumer product. If I bought a car for $6,000, right? Or let's say someone else bought a car for $6,000, and I bought a car for $600,000. So it's basically, you got a used Toyota Camry. You got yourself an old 2003 used Toyota Camry. I just bought myself a $600,000 brand new Lamborghini Revuelto. Okay? I just got myself a brand new Lambo. You have yourself a 2003 Toyota Camry. Who would win if we raced? Well, from the money aspect, I should win. I should have a better vehicle. I should have a faster car. I should have a nicer car. I should be able to have all the perks that come with a $600,000 vehicle. But the thing is, guess what? Why is China, ChatGPT's Deepseek, just as good as ours? Imagine if you spent $600K on a vehicle and their Honda Civic beat you. Their Toyota Camry beat you. Their whatever. You would say, what the heck? Why the heck did I just spend $600,000? That's the way Wall Street is perceiving this. Wall Street is pretty angry, saying you guys have invested hundreds of billions of dollars and now China has just as good as a product that we have? No one wants to overpay for something. Now, there's a few things that we definitely want to be on top of this though. Is China just blatantly lying? We know they have a good product. You can use Deepseek. You can check it on out. And comparing Deepseek to ChatGPT, they're almost identical. They are almost similar. Now, the thing is, the only thing that could be different is, are they lying about how much they actually invested into it? They could just come on out and say, hey, what could get underneath their skin? Like, what can we do as China to be able to get underneath the United States skin right here? Take away hundreds of millions of dollars away from them as well. Hey, let's just tell them that we made the same product they made for like 1/5 of the price. Let's just again completely undercut them. Oh yeah, let's do it. Hey, you guys over there, we did it for $6 million. You guys used the B word, billions, right? That's pretty nuts to see. So Dow futures tumble 300 points. NASDAQ futures lose 3% as NVIDIA leads AI stack route. Live updates right here. So last week, Deepseek released an open source AI model that reportedly outperformed OpenAI's in several tests. The company had launched an open source large language model in December, and it says it was less than $6 million. This is what is crashing this market at this time. This is what's bringing everything on down. So what we need to understand is not only right now are we seeing this market fade and fall, but we are also going to be moving into Wednesday. Wednesday, we have the Federal Reserve FOMC meeting as they talk about interest rates. So this entire week is going to start getting very volatile. We can already tell that the S&P 500 going from 610 at record highs, now back underneath 600 at 595. So today, I think the market's going to slowly fade, slowly drop, slowly get a little bit weaker. But then on top of that, Wednesday is we are going to see massive either reversal on up or another massive drop back on down. Let's get a good understanding of what we are expecting coming out on Wednesday here. So Wednesday, here we go. This over on Fox Runner. It says massive Fed's meeting this Wednesday. What to expect from the Federal Reserve's interest rate decision on Wednesday afternoon. So it would be a huge surprise to financial markets if the Federal Reserve did anything other than hold its interest rates flat when the Fed's policy committee meets on Wednesday. The Fed's battle to subdue inflation is entering a holding pattern. After 3 rate cuts in a row in September, the central bank is now waiting for inflation to fall more before cutting its interest rates. But this is the big thing right here. It says despite Trump's demands that the Fed cuts rates, Wall Street increasingly sees the opposite happening. So guys, let me again fill you in on what's happening with Trump, what's happening on Jerome Powell. Right now, we are about to see Jerome Powell versus Trump. Just like we saw Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, it's the same exact thing. It's about to go down in the ring. Now, what do we have? We have Jerome Powell on one side. Jerome Powell is saying we cannot cut rates coming on up. If we cut rates, we are going to see inflation skyrocket. Because guess what? When we cut rates, people are going to start taking out more loans. People are going to be spending more money on their credit cards. People are going to be going nuts again. We know when we cut rates, everything becomes more affordable. Everything becomes cheaper. It becomes a better and easy life of living when we can go ahead and buy more and not pay as much. That's great. That's awesome. And that's obviously what Trump wants. Trump, as the president, he wants to be able to say, hey, I want the American people to love me. I want to be able to be the best president I can be. We have had high interest rates. Let's cut them on down. Let's get this market booming. Let's do it right now. And Jerome Powell says, we can't do that because if we cut rates, inflation is going to skyrocket. So what did Trump come up with? Trump came up with and said, we are not going to send any more money out to any other countries. We are going to stop our international funding and we are going to keep all the money in the United States. That means we're not sending any more money over to Europe. We're not sending any more money to Ukraine. We're not sending any more money to Mexico. We're not sending any more money anywhere. So the thing is, when we're sending money to this country and this country and this country and this country, that is also rising up inflation. That's like us spending money here, spending money here. Trump goes, we're not doing that anymore. So if we stop doing that, that will help stop bringing up inflation. So now, Jerome Powell, I'm going to do my part. I'm not going to send any money to any country. That's going to keep inflation down low. Now you have the green light to now cut interest rates and bring it on up. If we were spending money here and here and here and here and here, and then on top of that, we also cut interest rates, sure, we would have very strong inflation. But since we're not doing all the international spending, go ahead and cut rates. So now everyone is saying, what is Jerome Powell going to do? Jerome Powell is still being very stubborn in the fact that he's saying, we are not cutting rates. We are not doing it yet. But Trump is really on his case right now, demanding that he cuts rates coming up this Wednesday. So if we do cut rates, what do you think the stock market's going to do? Especially when expectations are we are not cutting rates. If we cut rates this upcoming Wednesday, we should be able to see this market absolutely fire on off. We should see this market climb huge. We should see this market go all the way back up to 610 and plus. That's just because it's, happening. We're finally cutting rates. Now, if they do not cut rates, that could put even more fuel on this fire that would lead towards even more falling, even more fading, even more dropping here. So it's a big morning ahead, as we know. We have Deepseek problems at this time. China basically waving on the other side of the pond saying, hey, you guys over there in America? Yes, keep spending your billions. We made the same product for $6 million. That's the idea at this moment. Then on top of that, traders, we have Jerome Powell and Trump going at it on Wednesday. What's going to happen with interest rate cuts? So we want to make sure that we're fully aware of this. Now, also, I was reading this article and we see right here, which one's better? Is Deepseek better than ChatGPT, or is ChatGPT better than Deepseek? The fact is, guys, this shouldn't even be a question, right? Remember what I said earlier. If we have a $600,000 Lamborghini Revuelto and we have a 2003 Toyota Camry, they shouldn't even be in the same category. If we spent $20 billion over on creating ChatGPT and they spent $6 million over on DeepSeek, they shouldn't even be in the same question. And the thing is, it says conclusion, better for what? They say one thing is a little bit better than the other thing's a little bit better than the other thing, but they're kind of basically the same exact thing. Guys, it shouldn't be the same. If I raced that car, I don't want it to be equal. I don't want the guy coming on out here and saying, oh, hey, good race, we tied. Tied? I spent, again, $580,000 more than you do. I don't want to tie, right? And that's what we want to get. That's what we want to understand. That's what, again, people are so mad about at this moment, okay? So let's make sure that you guys are all understanding this. Now, I wanted to tweet something on out here today. Posted this over in chat. I typed on out here, there are two types of traders in this market, right? Number one, trader that sees new record highs and buys into the market due to FOMO. Or number two, the trader that sees new lows and buys in so you have the best price. Some think that this market is ugly. I say this market is a gift. Amazing morning to enter. So I definitely want to see, and I definitely want you guys to know that this market right here could be an absolute incredible gift. Traders, I know it's very tough to believe, and I know some people hate when people say this, but let's be honest with each other. The stock market only goes up. Okay? Now, you might say, no, it doesn't, Tech. Guys, let's take a look. Are there pullbacks in the market? The answer is yes. There are pullbacks in the market. There are times of dropping. There are times of fading. There are times of weakness. If we take a look at the S&P 500, you can 100% see that in 2022, the market fell. And you can 100% see that in 2020, the market fell. And you can 100% see in 2018, the market fell. And you can 100% see in 2015, the market fell. Traders, we can see this clearly. But you know what else I can see very clearly? Is that all other times, the market progressively climbs. Not only progressively, aggressively. We see the market move on up in very strong manners. So while you are sitting here and saying, oh, Deck, the market's about to pop, we're in an AI bubble, everything's about to fall and fade and drop and get weaker, would I disagree with you if you ever saw this? I wouldn't disagree with you. I would say that is 100% a plausible thing that could happen. I would say this could easily have a pullback. We could easily see new lows. We could easily see the market drop and fade. I could imagine the AI bubble starting to pop slightly. I could see that. But you know what I would say? If it falls from here, we'd go back up to here. If, again, we fell down to here, guess what? We would climb back on up to here. The thing that I want you guys to realize is no matter what, the S&P 500 is going to move up over time. The S&P 500 is going to climb over time. So when I say the stock market only goes up, I'm referring to get in on dip buy opportunities and understand that there will be pullbacks, but over time. Even if it was 2008, 2007, 2009, imagine if you jumped in on 2008. You would be making tons of money. Imagine if you jumped in on 2007 right before the dump. Guess what? The dump would have sucked, but you'd be up tons of money. If, again, you got in 13, 15, 18, 20, 21, if you buy in any year, you could see tons of money comes up in the future here. So I'm not saying that you're never going to have a pullback. I'm not saying that you're never going to be in the red. I'm not saying that you're ever going to have trouble. I'm saying that over time, the S&P 500 shows dominance and will consistently move on up, which is why everyone gets involved in the market. That's why the ultra wealthy get involved in the market. That's why you want to be involved in the market. So what does that come on down to? That comes on down to the pure fact that today could be a dip buying opportunity, or even after Wednesday. If you want to say, hey, Deck, I don't know what's going to happen on Wednesday, let me wait for that to be a dip buying opportunity. Now, today, I have already invested another $7,000 into my long-term portfolio. So I do want to bring over my long-term portfolio right here and show you guys where I'm currently at, what I've currently invested in, and how my account is currently sitting at this moment. So here's my long-term investment account at this time. Now, traders, this long-term investment account, I want you guys to know this right away, is that this is not a high-risk investment account. I do not want high-risk, high-reward. I want low-risk, medium reward. That's what I'm going off. I'm not going high risk, high reward. It's impossible to have low risk and high reward. That's not really a thing. I'm more looking for low risk and medium reward. That's the type of account I want. Now, as you guys can see, the entire market's down today. So the entire market is down today. The entire market's falling. That's why obviously every single thing right here is in the red, right? The entire market's in the red. So that's not why I'm showing you this here. I'm showing you this to, number one, be transparent. And I'm showing you this because I want you guys to understand my portfolio. I want you guys to understand what I'm doing with this account. So I do want to bring this on over. Again, something I posted over on Twitter, something I posted over on Tradecaster, something I posted over for every single trade. I want you guys to see a stock that I bought in on today. Now, what I bought in on today is I bought more NVT. This is a stock I just purchased another $10,000 of. I am going to be purchasing another $10,000 coming later on this week. Why? My entire portfolio is long-term growth in AI. I don't care if we see a pullback today. I'm talking about years to come. Just like I showed you, the S&P 500 is going to move up over time. I believe, me personally, I believe that AI is going to be more like the internet. There's going to be the internet spike and then a little bit of a bubble that's going to pop and things are going to fall, and anything that's not legitimate is going to get out of the way. That could easily happen in the future. But I believe that over the next 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 years, AI is just going to continuously progress. I don't see us putting hundreds of billions of dollars into AI and not seeing it slowly progress over time. These blue chip companies that have been putting hundreds of billions into it see progress on their end. See what can come. See, you got to follow the big money. So, could I again take my money and invest in some little AI startup and hope that it turns into something big? Sure. Could I take my money and just blatantly ignore AI and say, hey, let me go over to this company, or this one has to do with gene editing. This one has to do with, again, making cars fly. I don't want to do that. I want to follow where the big money's at. So what I'm doing, guys, is I'm looking to be able to diversify my portfolio all in AI. Now, you guys have seen me talk about this before. I've talked about diversifying your portfolio into about 5 to 6 different categories, which is going to be the hardware of AI, the software of AI, energy of AI, data centers of AI, water usage of AI, and security of AI. Very quickly, hardware is going to be the chips of AI, the backbone of artificial intelligence. Software is the programs that are built on AI for you to actually have an actual product. The energy is going to be the fuel of AI. We aren't going to be able to have enough grid. Our grid is getting so strained out. Most companies are moving over towards nuclear or small modular reactors as trying to power these AI chips so they can have a stronger AI. We also have data center. Data center is going to be the home base where all the AI is stored and where all these supercomputers are stored at. Water usage. For anyone who does not know, water is a key component in AI. Just by typing in on ChatGPT and clicking enter, you are using 20 times more water than, again, just typing in a normal Google search. Water is a crazy thing that we need, obviously, to be able to power off AI. And also, just being able to use it in our data centers, that's going to be very important. And security such as PANW, security such as CrowdStrike, where we have AI that is super smart. Don't you think the bad guys, don't you think hackers are going to try to use this as well? So we're going to have good guys, we're going to have bad guys. Guess what? As AI gets more advanced, we're going to have security issues and security problems. Security is always going to be needed and always going to be around. So when it comes down to my long-term portfolio, I do not want to take any unnecessary risk. So what am I focused on? As stated, if AI is the number one priority of China and AI is the number one priority of the United States, we are just going to continue to dump more money into it. Well, everyone has been buying chips the last few years. Now we need a data center and multiple data centers to be able to store these supercomputers, store all of this data, store everything that's happening with AI. It's basically the brain of AI. We go out and we buy these chips and we walk home with our chips. That's great. But now as we're getting all these chips, as we're getting all this data from these chips, we need to store it somewhere. At this time, there is actually what they're saying, the data center race, which is beginning. There are more data centers right now being built than there are currently finished and done. At this moment, all these companies have built these chips, right? All these companies have bought these chips. Now they're building these data centers. And I get it. It's going to be a long process before we actually see those walking human robots on what we want to see. We have chips. We have to have the data center for the chips. Then we have to build the product. Then we have to be able to let the product work. There's going to be years of more AI to be able to come. So the stocks that I'm investing in is I do have hardware, which are the chips. I need to be able to supply the energy for these chips, which is BWXT. And then we have data center, NVT. Now, NVT, guys, let's talk about this. NVT is not only an energy company to be able to help supply these data centers, but they also have a liquid cooling company, which is, again, needed to cool down these extremely hot computers. These computers are working 24/7, have so much going on. Liquid cooling, there's air cooling and there's liquid cooling. Liquid cooling is the more preferred method to be able to cool down these AI data centers. NVT is one of the top providers for liquid cooling. So, guys, that's what we need to be able to understand. There's a very big reason on why Nancy Pelosi bought VRT last week. VRT is going to be something very similar. Data centers, liquid cooling. Now, again, we know VRT has been an extremely incredible company. I don't feel comfortable buying VRT at the areas that it's at. So I'm looking for another profitable company that, again, is a much better price, that has consistently made gains, that I don't feel like I'm chasing. We know that when we take a look over on this play right here, we have VST over on Nancy Pelosi. So VST right here, that is the company that Nancy Pelosi bought into, $1 million worth. So we know, if we take a look right here, VST, this play has gone absolutely crazy. She actually just bought in on January 13th. January 13th. Nancy Pelosi jumped in on VST. That play went absolutely crazy. That play went absolutely wild. And again, I apologize. I think I typed in the wrong play right here. She bought in on, so I put in VRT. It's VST. I apologize. I will correct that. So this is the same exact reason on why she bought into that company. So Nancy buying in on VST is the same exact reason why I'm getting involved with NVT. So in my eyes, this is a lower risk, medium reward, profitable company, which should bring overall growth over the next 2 years. So as you guys could see at this time, we do have NVT. NVT, it says data center exposure, high. I want to get involved into companies that have high data center exposure. I want to buy into companies that have high access to data centers and their liquid cooling and to be contracted out. If every company in the world essentially just bought these AI chips, they are going to need a home base. They need a brain. They need to have a garage. They need to have storage. They need to have a data center to be able to keep all this data. And that's where, again, we are seeing a lot of this hype. This is where we're seeing a lot of this action. So when we're taking a look over on my portfolio right here, and we're saying, all right, Deck, what do we have? Well, we have AMD, which is going to be the chips. Okay, we have BWXT, which is going to be the energy. We SMRs, the very profitable company, has to do with nuclear. We have CNM, which has to do with water, which is going to be great with data centers. And we have NVT, which is going to be the liquid cooling behind the data centers to keep these computers cool. So when you were again asking, what is your portfolio all about right here? It is about trying to hit every single little pizza pie of AI. The only ones of AI that I'm not in, that I really do want to start getting myself involved in, is going to be number one, software, and number two, security, right? Those are two other ones. That's like Palantir, right? That's like Salesforce. When we talk about security, that's like Palo Alto, that PANW or CRWD, CrowdStrike. Those are going to be other ones that I want to be adding. So NVT right here, traders, I just or it's the pending right here. Pending left is again $5,937. This is actually my biggest investment right now at this moment. $21,582 now I have put in on NVT Electric PLC. Now, not only that, traders, we have talked about many times that we have the grid, and the grid is getting strained. Our current electrical grid is getting strained. You ever see that video of Spider-Man on Spider-Man 1 or maybe Spider-Man 2 where he's trying to stop the train and he's like shooting out all the webs and he's like screaming and he's trying to slow down the train? That's essentially what our grid is doing at this moment. With the amount of AI, the amount of pressure cooking that we have is basically like Peter Parker trying to stop this train, and the grid is just getting strained in every single way, trying to be able to supply AI, supply the electricity, supply to all these different companies, supply to all these data centers. There's an extreme shortage of electricity. There's an extreme shortage of power. There's an extreme shortage to be able to bring to these AI chips. So what am I investing in? I'm investing into the shortage. And on top of that, NVT also does liquid cooling. So it's a bang bang right there. NVT, liquid cooling, and being able to get electricity, which is going to be a shortage coming on up. Same exact thing with BWXT, which is going to be SMRs, nuclear, which may take a little bit more time. But again, that's going to be helping with the shortage. What is going to be the highest price things? Guys, think about the housing market. When there's a low supply and a high demand, price is going to increase dramatically. So we are going to want to invest in things that are going to be on a shortage so that these companies can ramp up their prices. These companies can ramp up these prices. That's what it all comes on down to. So I wanted to be able to break everything on down from this morning, from number one, what is happening over on the S&P 500, to number two, S&P 500, to number two, what's happening with NVIDIA and Deepseek, to number three, what we need to expect out of Jerome Powell and Trump over on Wednesday, to number four, what I just invested in, what I just got myself involved in, and having you guys have a clear-cut understanding of why. Okay? So, want to be open, honest, credible, and transparent. Get ourselves started. Make sure everyone understands what's happening on this absolutely beautiful Monday and getting ourselves ready to rock and roll. Guys, let's do it. Whew.